Last night, the Rays erupted for 5 runs in the 8th, securing a cup from behind victory. And tonight, Matt Moore returns to the mound at Tropicana Field for the first time in almost 2 months, looking to tame Boston's big bats. It's a Saturday night showdown between the Red Sox and the Rays next. It's Star Wars night at Tropicana Field, and Dad is in the house. We welcome you to the Trop. The Rays and the Red Sox continue their series. This will be game 2. Hi again, everyone. Welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. Well, the Rays got a big win last night, and BA, they're hoping that might be a springboard with only 22 games left. They're 5 back in that second wild card spot. And while the Red Sox and the Rays battle it out, we're battling shortstops here as well.
How about these guys? And taking their game to a new level since the beginning of August. Let's start on the Rays side of the ledger with Asdrubal Cabrera. Since August the 1st, he's hitting .367 right-handed, .337 left-handed. That averages out to .348. And how about the extra base hits? 8 triples, or 8 doubles, a triple, and 6 home runs, 24 runs batted in. He's getting it done in big spots. Big home run in last night's game, not to mention the stellar defense that he's playing for the Rays at that shortstop position. For Xander Bogaerts, it's all about the growth of his game, the maturing of his game. This was a guy last year, his first major league season, he hit .240. He's raised his average by 81 points this year, and he's even been better than that since the 1st of August. A .342 average, 10 extra base hits. He driving runs in, of course, playing outstanding defense out at shortstop, just 22 years old and getting it done big for the Red Sox.
And against these teams battling it out tonight, Cabrera against the Red Sox hitting .380. Bogaerts against the Rays, .356. A 5-run 8th last night for the Rays, propelling them to a victory, and they will send Matt Moore to the mound here tonight. We'll have more from the Trop in just a moment.
Sox and the Rays. Matt Moore will make his 8th start of the year tonight. And he last pitched against the New York Yankees. Came just 1 out away from qualifying for a victory. Had his pitch count up a little bit. Lasted 4 2/3 innings. Allowed 3 runs. 2 of them earned. No, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. 2 walks and 3 strikeouts in a game the Rays would win 3-2. Matt Moore felt like the ball was coming off his hand better. And here's Moore on a little bit increased velocity with that fastball.
My velo was up my last time out, at least. Maybe not a new peak, but just being able to stay close to that 93, 94 range. So, that helps, but at the same time, a lot of it just has to do with conviction and execution. And I feel like I'm in a better place these days with that.
Should be an interesting final month for Matt Moore, and we'll see how he fares tonight against a team that he would like to exact a little revenge upon. Boston Red Sox hit him around the last time he faced them. We'll have the first pitch in 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Enjoy all the action next on Sun Sports.
Rays and the Red Sox tonight, following the first game of the series last night, taken by the Rays 8-4. So the Rays are 7-6 in the season series against Boston so far this year. This one to go tonight, then tomorrow afternoon, and before the season is complete, the Rays will have met the Red Sox 4 additional games at Fenway Park. Let's take a look at the starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Mookie Betts, riding his 16-game hitting streak again, will lead off. Dustin Pedroia returns to the lineup, hitting second, playing second, and batting in front of Xander Bogaerts, the shortstop. David Ortiz is the DH. Travis Shaw's at first. Pablo Sandoval down at third with Rusney Castillo in left field. Blake Swihart is the catcher. He'll hit 8th. And Jackie Bradley Jr. in right field, hitting 9th.
And for Matt Moore, making his first start since coming back from Durham
in his last outing against the New York Yankees. Plenty to build upon. He ended up going just 4 2/3, gave up the 2 earned runs, but the first 4 innings, that was vintage Matt Moore at his very best, commanding the fastball, good changeup, sharp curveball. He'll be looking to build on that, maybe add a couple of innings in this outing here tonight against the Red Sox.
Be a big lift for him if he could get beyond 5 and maybe 6 innings. That would be a major step forward. First pitch of this game presented by Pinch a Penny, and it's upstairs. 1 ball and no strikes. It's popped up, a foul ball headed toward the stands and out of play. 1-1.
Well, I will tell you what, the command that he had in his last start, those first 4 innings, that would give him the opportunity to get a little deeper into a game. You know, often we see Matt Moore working awfully hard, 5 innings, 5 1/3 innings, right around 100 pitches. But he was very good with the strike throwing, quality strikes that last outing, like that.
And he's ahead in the count, 1-2, and it's all about command for him at this point.
Yeah, the stuff is plenty good enough. We've seen that.
Fastball fouled back. Mookie Betts had a base hit in the 7th inning. Also walked in last night's game. 1 for 4 officially to extend his hitting streak. Ground ball, and that's grabbed by Forsythe, but he has no play at first with the speed of Betts going down the line. Forsythe shaded toward the middle and had to go back to his left.
Well, Mookie Betts, you're talking about getting out of the box. Shot out of there like a rocket. Great job by Forsythe, and that ball got to him quickly because it was hit hard, and he still didn't have a chance. Watch this. I mean, gone. Right there, turns it on, and just floats past first base.
So the hitting streak extended to 17 with that turned out to be an infield hit as Forsythe made the stop on it. Here's Dustin Pedroia. And the pitch is a ball.
Well, already with Betts and now Pedroia making this Boston Red Sox ball club aware of the fastball in.
Lifted toward the short center. Kiermaier is there. 1 away.
Let's go ahead and set that Rays defense for you here tonight. Brought to you by our friends at BMW. In the outfield left to right, we have Grady Sizemore, Kevin Kiermaier, and Steven Souza Jr. Across that infield, third to first, Evan Longoria, Asdrubal Cabrera, Logan Forsythe, and James Loney with JP Arancibia behind the plate.
Xander Bogaerts coming in with a .321 average. Added 3 points to that average last night with a 3-hit evening. First pitch strike. First fastball at 93.
Well, how about last season? First full season in the big leagues, hit .240. Making the jump this year.
High chop right side. And late getting to cover the bag was Moore. I'm not sure he had a shot in any case because of that high chopper.
No, he did not. Watch this. That ball chopped right off the plate, and Matt Moore is a little bit late, but it would not have mattered. That ball was just hung up there too long before Loney could corral it.
So a couple of infield hits, and the Red Sox have 2 men on with only 1 out. And here's David Ortiz. .32 home runs for Ortiz in the top 10 in that department. He had 2 hits last night. Pitch is upstairs.
Well, what would do wonders for Matt Moore is to be able to get out of this situation unscathed. A couple of infield hits, those can be very frustrating.
There's a strike. 1-1. Some talk as to whether Ortiz would be in the lineup. He's had some Achilles problems. They're both wrapped, and they were thinking he might have one of these next 2 days off, but he's in there tonight against the lefty Matt Moore, against whom he is 8 of 19 with a home run. Misses that one. Drew Smyly's set to go tomorrow, and he's 5 of 12 with a home run off him.
Tough decision. I think that the stuff of Matt Moore with the fastball that's more traditional straight, and you're going to see a lot of them, sets up better for Ortiz than maybe Smyly, who can really tinker with your timing. But we'll see.
High shot deep to right. Souza will go to the wall. Out of here. Number 33 for Ortiz. 499 of his career. 3-0 Boston.
He took one, he swung through one, and then he got on top of one. And it was good enough for 3 runs. Another heater, very similar to the pitch that he swung and missed at, but he got the head out early. And that full extension, this is going to be the result.
2 infield hits and the home run. And the Red Sox have a quick 3. Travis Shaw takes a fastball for a strike. 0-2. Ball, 2 strikes. 5th home run given up by Matt Moore, and this is 8th start. Down to first, foul. Holds the count at 1-2. And there's the home run list for Ortiz, 1 short of 527th, and chasing Eddie Murray next with 504. Fly ball. It's Kiermaier drifting back and is there waiting now. 2 outs.
Well, we've seen this played out before. A team jumps out early in the Rays with 9 innings. You know they're going to knuckle down in their at-bats. They've been swinging the bats very well. I mean, what is it now? Five straight games of double-digit hits. They're scoring runs, so you can't lose heart here if you're Matt Moore. You just continue to pitch, continue to battle, see how deep you can get now.
Sandoval fouls it up the right side.
And you just have that faith that your offense is going to find a way back into this game. So you've still got a tremendous chance. You know, early in the season, a quick jump like this by the opposition, and you're like, oh, this is not going to go well. Right now, you don't feel that way.
Well, we're closing in on the middle of September. Since the 1st of August, this has been a much different offense. Here's Kiermaier after this one. So he handles all 3 fly balls. But a 3-run home run by David Ortiz. Rays down by 3. We'll take a look at their starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. John Jaso will again go back into the leadoff spot as the DH. Grady Sizemore hits second, then Evan Longoria, Logan Forsythe, then Drupal Cabrera, and James Loney, the heart of the order, followed by Steven Souza Jr., Kevin Kiermaier, and J.P. Arancibia.
Well, they'll be facing off with right-hander Rick Porcello, making his 24th start of the season.
Jaso goes after the first one. That ball's near the line, but just foul. A little slice on that one up the left field side as he toyed with the idea of a potential double. It's a foul ball, strike one.
Would have been a nice answer.
Just to come right out, putting a man on.
Well, and the way that Porcello's been throwing the ball lately, he spent a month on the disabled list with a strained right triceps, but in 3 starts since coming back, 2-1 with a 1.61.
Yeah, it's a complete turnaround for him. The Red Sox anticipated with the additions they made over the winter they were going to have a good year, and for about 4 months plus it just didn't work out that way. But it's been different recently. There's a strike, and Porcello is part of that turnaround since he's been back. There you go, right there.
And how about the innings pitch? That's what's impressive. He's getting deep into ball games. He did have that one big strikeout game, and that was against the New York Yankees. Struck out 13. That was a game that he lost, ironically enough. A couple unearned runs cost him. But outside of that, he's a guy that wants to get you out early in counts, keep the ball on the ground.
Yeah, and that's a big part of the success he had last year with Detroit when he won 15 games and suddenly became a hot commodity. He was averaging, in fact, for the year last year, averaged under 15 pitches per inning. Right side, and Pedroia planted in the hole on the right side there, makes that play.
Well, let's take a look at that Boston Red Sox defense, see how that's going to line up here tonight. Brought to you by BMW. In the outfield left to right, Rusney Castillo, Mookie Betts, and Jackie Bradley Jr. And then across that infield third to first, Pablo Sandoval, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and Travis Shaw, with Blake Swihart getting the call behind the plate.
Sizemore takes it low. 220 on the year combined with the Rays and the Phillies. Jabs at that one and fouls it. 1-1.
And you can understand why Pablo Sandoval a little bit closer right now, but he was actually, Pablo right here, he was over in this area. Had plenty of room. If he gets that bunt down, not going to be able to throw him out.
And a line drive into right for a base hit. Off speed pitch. Sizemore is aboard.
And Porcello tries to make it difficult for you to lift the ball off of him. That being said, he's given up 23 home runs this year on the season. That's the most he's given up since his rookie year. And so that's why Rays hitters, they will approach him like they do a knuckleball. Want to see the ball up in the zone until you get to 2 strikes, and then you got to protect.
Longoria takes a pitch outside. And tonight's GMC big matchup, having against the Red Sox, 373 this year in the 13 games. Now 1-1.
Well, and the only game that he does not have a hit in was the first game of the season against the Red Sox. After that, a hit in every game, multi-hits in 6 out of the 12. He's been dialing it up against Red Sox pitching. He got the big 8th inning rally started in last night's game.
8-1 Rays have won 10 of the last 17 games played here at the Trop between these two clubs, dating back into the beginning of last year. Having a big part of that. Count goes to 2-2. A shot wide. Fastball off the plate. The count is full.
Boy, we saw Porcello get those types of pitches onto the outside corner, starting it off the plate, that little backdoor sinker. Right now, it's just not moving quite as much as he'd like.
Sizemore back in.
You never know with a full count if Sizemore would be going, so you try to catch him maybe leaning.
There he goes. And the 3-2 is fouled back, a fastball. So the Rays did have Sizemore in motion there on the 3-2 pitch.
Well, that's why if you're Grady Sizemore, you can't assume. You want to time the pitcher up and get the best jump that you can, but you also have to allow him to make the first movement and watch that back heel. If not, one false move, and that's all it takes. One false move towards second, a lean, and they'll get you.
He's going again, and a foul ball again. So back to first goes Sizemore, and Longoria feeling this little foul ball.
Oh, man, I mean, right where, yeah, the reaction says it all. And that's what you'll get when those guys with good sinkers run them down and in on right-handed hitters. You're trying to get the head out, and you will pound that thing right into your lower leg.
A foul ball again on the third straight 3-2 pitch, fouled away with Sizemore breaking on each pitch.
And already creating his argument for Kevin Barr, the strength coach here for the Rays, after the game. My cardio's done. I did it in the first inning. Wind sprints to second.
For the fourth time, he's on the move, cut the miss, and he is out at second base with Pedroia putting the tag on him. So strike him out, throw him out, double play. Caught stealing for the third time this year. Rays come up 50 in the first, down 3-0. Let's go places. By Outback Steakhouse Curbside Takeaway. Order online at Outback.com. By Hattrick's Tavern. Come join the party we call Hattrick's. And by Morgan Auto Group. Make it Morgan. We make it happen. Three to nothing. Boston on top on the home run in the first off the bat of David Ortiz. Moore back to the hill. He'll face Rusney Castillo to lead it off, hitting seventh and playing left field again tonight. Castillo has played well since his return from the minor leagues, and the Red Sox feel pretty certain that they have their outfield set up for next year. That's a strike. And we're looking at it. Castillo and left, Betts and Bradley. I guess the only question is whether Bradley's going to play right field or center field. Bradley has been rejuvenated offensively. He's been extremely impressive. Up the middle, just beneath the glove, as Forsythe tried to backhand it, and Castillo is aboard.
Well, he was able to hit that ball just hard enough to elude the glove of Forsythe that snuck underneath the backhand. And Boston Red Sox leadoff man aboard. Already shading up the middle, but that ball smoked. And it gets by him. Yeah, he's been so good out there at second base that you almost expect those plays to be made, and you're shocked when they're not because he's set the bar that high.
And the Red Sox, you're right, have hit the ball hard, and that was another one there. Strike call to the Boston catcher. Blake Swihart hitting .284. And his bat has come around after a slow start.
Is there anybody on the Red Sox that's slumping right now?
I don't think there's a hitter.
I mean, really,
you can't cite anybody.
Well, that what that means? That means they're due to be put into a slump. You can't stay this hot for this long, can you?
I guess we're going to find out. Well, Swihart is out on strikes. And a nice pitch there. Up 0-2, and that pitch had some bite to it.
Well, it just doesn't mess around. And this is that breaking ball, that ball breaking down and in. He put it in a good spot. You're not going to get hurt there. And if he ends up taking it, well, then it's 1-2. No big deal. But he gets the chase well out of the zone.
Now Jackie Bradley Jr. Ball wide.
Dwayne, you were talking earlier about the Red Sox and their outfield and how it looks to be set up. The question then comes, what to do with Hanley Ramirez?
Just thinking about that, and that is the question. What do you do with him? I mean, they've put together a pretty good little club here with what they're throwing on the field right now. The idea was for him to play left field. They've talked about playing him some at first base. We'll see.
And then if Travis Shaw continues to emerge.
Shaw's doing it against righties and lefties.
Right. DH is spoken for.
It would seem, yes. We just saw some evidence of that in the first inning. So those are interesting questions for the Red Sox to ponder, who struggle so much during the first half and then post All-Star game. But things have been different here the last month and a half or so for this team. They've been very good. That's a strike. The interesting thing about Bradley, you talk about playing the outfield at Fenway, right field, certainly no picnic out there. In fact, you might want your best outfielder in right field at Fenway. Swing and a miss. Bradley is out on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts by Matt Moore. There are those in Boston who watched this Red Sox team for a long time, and they believe that Bradley Jr. could be the best center fielder they've had up there in 30 years.
And that's saying something.
Yep.
Anytime you're talking about a franchise like the Boston Red Sox and you're saying in the last 30 years, well, you're playing the heck out of that position. And you're right. Right field, between the poles so close, the odd angle of the balls hitting off that low wall, anything down the line, and then how much ground you have to cover because it gets deep quick out in right field, right center. Got to be able to run.
Betts takes the pitch low, and I think one of the things anyway the Red Sox are counting on is that Bradley, a young player who did struggle, and boy did he struggle early, but with this string of success they feel that he's gained a lot of confidence, which is vitally important, and feeling that he belongs in the big leagues, can compete, can hit. They certainly know that he can play defense.
And when you're a young player and you can come up as a group, you think about Betts, Bradley Jr., Bogarts. It's like you're a little fraternity within the team. That helps. You know, you guys are going through some of the same struggles, around the same age, bounce things off of each other, support group already in place.
Well, you have to think, and I know when we first saw Mookie Betts, we were impressed with him immediately. So he emerges, starts to get some playing time, productive. Now Bradley comes back from the minor leagues. And you're right, you start to get a group of young players like that. And you get that emotional momentum on a team like that.
Yeah. And you start to say, hey, you know what? Maybe you didn't get it done this year, but next year, look out. And it's a group type mindset.
Upstairs, fastball, the count is 2-2. It tends to be a tendency anyway with young players. They're all going to look forward, always looking to improve. Collectively, that's what the mindset becomes. Runner breaks, pitches up, throw down, on the bag, and he is out at second base. Castillo caught stealing. Fourth time he's been caught this year, and that retires the side. Another look as we go to break. Do an inning and a half. 3-0 Boston. And Logan Forsythe, batting cleanup, leads it off. He's got a base hit from Grady Sizemore in the first, but he was caught stealing as part of a strike him out, throw him out double play. So it's Forsythe to lead off. The pitch is down 2-0. Porcello, as a Red Sox, is 1-0 against the Rays, 4-3 lifetime. This is his third appearance this year, and he is 1-0 against them in 2 prior starts. It's a strike, 2-2. Rays did get 9 hits off him in 6 innings at the Trop back at the end of June. Gave up 3 runs. And Boston eventually won that game in 10 innings, 4-3.
Porcello's one of those guys. He will give up some hits, but if he can keep them to singles, there's always that ability of the next pitch being a ground ball double play.
And he gives up the walk here. He walked only 1 in that game we mentioned, allowing 9 hits but 1 walk. And he has walked Forsythe to open the bottom of the 2nd inning.
Well, as you're trying to climb back into this game, you can't ask for a better start. You put a hitter up at the plate, don't even put the ball in play. You have a base runner. There are his lines from those starts.
No earned runs in the 7 innings he worked and got the win at Fenway this year. So another base runner for the Rays. That's Drupal Cabrera. His 99th career home run in the 8th inning last night. He bunts, and that one caught part of the right hand of Blake Swihart. Here's the home run last night.
That ball, look at that, below the knees, but full extension. You see he's right on top of the plate and is able to get it out center field. That was big.
Down 0-2. What a great offensive run for Cabrera since coming off the disabled list. 356 over that spread.
He's been swinging it from both sides, and you know, imagine how difficult that is. The limited time you have to hit, you've got to take some swings right-handed, take some swings left-handed in case there's a reliever, depending on who's starting that night, and to be able to stay as hot as he has been from both sides of the plate over an extended period of time, that is not easy.
Well, there's a breakout since June the 18th. Before 199, and since then 332.
How was Cabrera hitting below 200 for 63 games, especially with what we've seen the last 62?
That's a little piece of that one. And you're right, the fact that he's hit so well from both sides of the plate. I mean, it really is like keeping a handle on 2 distinct personalities.
Yeah.
And we all know people with more than one personality and how difficult that is. That's switch hitting.
Yeah.
And to be as good as he's been from both sides of the plate, it's pretty good. Lifted foul, back to third. That's going to wind up out of play. He's playing a little catch up early thanks to the 3-run home run by Ortiz. pounds it back again. These last 3 Rays hitters have seen some pitches from Porcello. Although Longoria eventually struck out, he went 3-2. Saw 9 pitches. Forsythe 3-2, then walked. And now it's 2-2 here. We're 7 pitches into this at bat. And for the 3rd straight time, we have a full count.
Well, here's the thing. Porcello has been very heavy with the fastball, with the sinker. And so these hitters, they see it, they foul off. There's not been much of a changeup. Not many changeups, not many breaking balls. It has been a heavy dose of the fastball. And you take the ones out of the zone, you foul off the ones that are close, put good swings, work counts.
Runner goes, and this one is line foul. It will one hop and skip over the low wall.
And he finally did go with an off-speed pitch right there. And you saw Asdrubal Cabrera really try to lengthen that swing and stay on the baseball. Body was fooled, hand stayed back, and he was able to foul that pitch off.
This will be the 10th pitch of this at bat. It's foul back. The Rays starting their runners here because Porcello with a man on can throw that ground ball. So you're trying to be aggressive, stay away from the double play. Rays ran into a caught stealing in the first, but that's a tactic that you sometimes want to take against a guy like Porcello.
Especially because he's not a huge strikeout guy. 23 starts. Those ground ball double plays, he's got 16 of them.
Runner on the move, and it's a fly ball hit into left. Castillo grabs it. So back to first goes Logan Forsythe. He's there with 1 out. MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 13 years. Keep an eye on the Rays competition and watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV. James Loney. A good look at that pitch down. A sinker to start him. Loney 5 of 16 in his career against Porcello. Loney did not face Porcello the last time the Rays did. Loney was on the DL. Foul ball, runs the count to 1-1. Leadoff walk, Forsythe still at first, 1 away. Ground ball, out at first, the tag play on at second. It's thrown into left field. So Forsythe moves into scoring position.
Ran a little bit of interference there. He's making a run straight towards second base. Travis Shaw is going to take the out at first because he's so close. Now it's a tag play. He's got to throw, though, over Forsythe. You can see Xander Bogaerts asking for the ball with his hand. Like, throw it to my hand where I can get some clearance. That ball sank right over the shoulder of Forsythe, and Bogaerts lost sight of it.
Well, that's a great shot we had.
Well, you could see Bogaerts knowing it's going to be a difficult throw. He's putting his hand out, the bare hand, as a target. Throw it out here, and I'll get it. It's not where the ball went.
The ball to Steven Souza Jr. Here's a look.
Watch him stick it. See, and you know what? Travis Shaw maybe not seeing that. Obviously, he knows he's got to get the throw wide anyway. But you saw a little uncomfortable right there as that ball climbing right over the left shoulder of Forsythe.
Ground ball, shortstop. Bogaerts out with this one, and the Rays will leave a man. They do not score, and we go to the third. 3-0 Boston.
Lately, trying to come back off the disabled list, both battling their left knee issues and left hamstring issues. We're speaking of Kurt Casale dealing with a left hamstring issue. The Rays have missed Casale in that big home run swing. He took some hacks in the cage today, as did Desmond Jennings, who is now out with a bruised knee. Jennings continues to try that knee out as he has missed a lot of games this year. The Rays are thinking Jennings could be back towards the middle of next week, and Casale maybe towards the end of the homestand. And guys, that'll be interesting too, because you have J.P. Arencibia basically pulling a Kurt Casale with 5 home runs in his last 9 hits.
Now the Rays getting a lot of pop out of that catching spot here recently. Casale emerging with that big bat, and Arencibia is stepping right in. He has 5 home runs after hitting 22 at Durham. Mookie Betts leading off the third. 2 strikes the count.
I think at the beginning of the season, if you would have said that you were going to get 19 home runs from that position, you'd sign up for that right now.
Yep. Fly ball back into left. Sizemore to the track, to the wall, and it's gone. Betts hits his 15th home run. And the Red Sox have a 4-0 lead.
Well, the combination of speed and power that Mookie Betts gives you is pretty astounding. First of all, a curveball down and in that he's able to get under, lift, and get it out of the yard. Then think back to the first inning and his first hit, an infield hit that he flew up the first base line. I mean, he has that combination. 15 home runs, a ton of speed, will steal a bag for you, extra base hit. I'll tell you what, there's a reason why he's hitting leadoff and really spurring this team along.
Now 1-1 to count on Dustin Pedroia. Did Pedroia go? He held up, says Angel Hernandez.
When you look at Mookie Betts, his combination, as we take a look at this pitch down, and Pedroia, you absolutely could have called him on that too.
There's a shot, well tagged, left center. That's gone. Kiermaier can only look up and watch it drop about 2 or 3 rows into the seats. Home run number 10 for Pedroia, as Betts and Pedroia go back to back, and it's 5-0.
And breaking ball to Betts. Pedroia here gets a fastball. This pitch, see how that's coming right back to the middle of the plate, and just too easy there.
So the Red Sox playing serious long ball here early in this game. Bogaerts fouls it out of play up the right side. Before on that fastball. Right side, Loney to the stands, but no chance. Nobody out here in the third. The Red Sox have opened it with back-to-back home runs from Betts and Pedroia. And the appeal, he did not go. Two skied to center. Kiermaier will be there waiting for this one. So one away. David Ortiz is on his way to the plate. Our Toyota trend, the American League leaders since the 1st of August in runs per game, and Boston just about keeping pace with Toronto, and that's saying something.
Yeah, we talk about Toronto. We talk about the outbursts they have, it seems, on a nightly basis. But Boston, because they've been so far down in the standings, they've done that very quietly.
Here's Ortiz. 499 home runs for Ortiz after he connected on the fastball for a 3-run first-inning home run. 2-0.
Well, with 2 strikes, too. That's what really hurt. That fastball stayed out over, and he lifted it up and out.
3-0. One out, bases empty. And he swings 3-0, lifting a high pop fly into shallow center, where Kiermaier makes the catch on that one. This will be Travis Shaw. Upstairs. Breaking ball stayed up there, and not a lot of action on that one. A 2-0 count.
I think sometimes what can happen is you give up those home runs like Matt Moore just did, and you get angry, and then you start to overthrow just a little bit. A couple of those curveballs he's kind of thrown through, you get a little bit out of sync mechanically. See, now the pitch is starting to sail just a hair here to Shaw.
Just like that, Moore is behind him 3-0. And he walks him on 4 pitches.
Well, that was after falling 3-0, behind 3-0 to Ortiz. That's exactly why Aaron Sebia out to the mound and chat.
Well, difficult spot here for the Rays with Matt Moore. Now time for you to tweet your strongest fan photo. Use hashtag #SSDataStrongFan, and you just might see yourself in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Pablo Sandoval fouls it right back for a strike. Sandoval at one point a switch hitter, and just a minimal amount of that this year. Strictly left side now.
And I'll give you a couple of reasons why. Last year, left-handed, he hit .317. Right-handed, it was .199. Started weaning himself off of the .199 more towards the .317.
2 down the left field side with slice and out of play. Well, he started the season 2 for 41 against lefties. And since May the 24th, he's hit .273 against lefties.
The more you see of them, the more comfortable you're going to get. See them from that side of the plate. It's a big difference. A lot of guys, they switch hit because, number one, they can. Number two, they prefer the pitcher's arm away from them. Like to see it out away from me. And, you know, when you make that switch and all of a sudden it's on top of you, the breaking ball, instead of breaking down and in, is breaking down and away. That's a big hurdle to overcome.
Moore ahead of him, 2 strikes. One ball, 2 strikes. Sandoval has been bothered by some back tightness, and you can see him at the plate and when he's in the field, stretching out there.
You think the swing would keep it loose.
Pops it up, foul. That's going to be out of play. Back in with a 1-2 count, 2 outs, bases empty, 2 more runs home on solo home runs to lead off the inning from Betts and Pedroia. Right side, Forsythe makes the play. 2-run score on the solo home runs. A man left. Kevin Kiermaier will open the bottom of the 3rd when we return. Big deals by Grow Financial. Don't go through life, grow through life. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% on car insurance. Here's Kevin Kiermaier. Pitch is a strike. Kiermaier hitting .265, facing the right-hander Porcello. Missed the fastball up a bit that time. 0-2. We talked about a gamer the other night. Porcello certainly got his gamer on. Ground ball. Oh, a big hop off the turf. And Pedroia makes the play. One gone.
Hey, he's got the salt halo.
Yep.
Yeah, you know, I would think that most clubhouse managers, you know, usually you pack all the hats together. You may want to keep that one separate.
Yep.
That's just going to infect everything else.
But you got to appreciate that one for the gamer that it is. Sebia takes a strike. You were talking the other night about protecting that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Listen,
support.
You know, and that's why I always it baffles me when you hear about guys in the NBA and they'll use a different pair of shoes every couple games, every other game. Like, how?
That's amazing to me.
You would think you'd want to break a pair in and just
and use it forever.
Yeah.
As long as you could.
Well, it's what you would think. But yeah, the hat, you don't mess with the hat. It's like the glove. Remember, when you come to spring training, you'd have a few gloves that you'd be given, maybe a couple more during the course of a season. But out of all of that, the handful that you would get climbing the ladder right there. And I'll tell you something, not to get off topic, but a guy like Rick Porcello, who works down in the zone a lot, wants you to hit ground balls, when they climb the ladder, it can be even more effective than other pitchers. Because, what did we say earlier? Rays hitters want to see the ball up against him.
Yep.
So when they get one, they get excited. Now they want to swing, but if it's up there, well, we know the end result of that.
Jaso, and he hits it right on the ground to Bogaerts, who was on the first base side of second. A quick 1-2-3 third. 5-0 Boston. Hero cap t-shirt. It's a Cape t-shirt presented by Tampa Bay Times when the Rays play the Red Sox. Available for kids 14 and under while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Raise up the superhero Cape t-shirt. Leading off here in the fourth, Rusney Castillo, 1-0 the count. Single in the second inning was caught stealing to end the top half of that frame. It's now 1-1. Two and one. Matt Moore in 2013, 17-4. And then made 2 starts last year before determining he needed Tommy John surgery. Up the right side, Souza, straight line into foul territory to run that one down. Nice catch by Steven Souza Jr. One out in the fourth. And Blake Swihart will be up here. Upstairs. Short right this time, and Souza angling in. Grabs that one.
He could glide after that one. The long run on the previous play into foul territory.
Right fielder, Jackie Bradley Jr.
So the bases are empty. 2 outs, and here's Jackie Bradley Jr. The strike. And 2. Couple of 5-inning stints this year in the big leagues for Moore. That's going to be a base hit off the glove of Sizemore, who was racing toward the line. It appeared he might have had a line on that one, and it deflected off his glove. So Bradley winds up at second.
And Jackie Bradley Jr. being a left-handed hitter, you're going to get the slicing action. And that's going to take it right off the end of the glove. You see that ball slicing away, and he did get there in time. Let's see how close it was. Now just right off the back of that glove.
Seven hits now for Boston. And here's Betts, who has a single and a home run. Takes the pitch inside, 1-0. Moore did have some outings in the minor leagues in which he consistently gave the Durham Bulls 6 innings, and one he pitched 7 innings. Down to short, bobbled, picked up, and the throw is wide, and that'll be an error on Cabrera. Keeps the inning going and sends Bradley to third, as Drupal not happy with himself right now.
Well, that ball was hit hard, but as Drupal Cabrera was right at him, he had it. This ball stung, but here he is, going to end the inning, dropped it, and then just could not pick it up in time. We already talked about Betts' speed. You could have survived this, not that.
First and third, and it gives Pedroia an opportunity. That's a strike. 1-1. The breaking ball missing. It's Riefenhauser, C.J. Riefenhauser up in the bullpen. Popped up, headed out of play. Matt Moore with 77 pitches. His high pitch count at Durham was 104. 88 with the Rays. Two-out threat, a double and an error. Runner heads down to second. Pitch, a breaking ball down and in. So it's 2-2 on Pedroia. And Betts will get credit for his 18th stolen base. So he's already singled and scored. He's homered. Now he's at second with a stolen base, reaching on an error. Light on his feet. He can run and get it started quickly. Hot shot, line drive past Longoria. Bradley scores. Betts will score. Pedroia into second, standing up. The Red Sox add two more, and they built a 7-0 lead.
And all of this coming with two outs. It was the two-out double by Jackie Bradley Jr. And then Betts aboard on the air, and then a pitch up in the zone. We know Pedroia likes the ball up in the zone, and he hammers that down into the left field corner.
Jim Hickey spending some time out there with Moore. Well, it has consistently been a battle with location and command for Matt Moore since coming back.
Well, and the thing is, at times it's been the walk. You know, for Matt Moore's career, he's at 4.3 walks per nine. Was over that a little bit this year. The walk hasn't been what's hurt him. It's been the lack of command within the strike zone.
That's right.
Too many hittable pitches.
A strike to Bogarts.
And so that, you know, all command at the end of the day means is you put the ball where you want it, in or out of the zone. And so he's throwing strikes, no doubt about it. They haven't been quality strikes, and that's why they've been hit hard.
0-2. Tell you, he's been hurt on some two-strike pitches. It's 0-2, 1-2, 2-2. He's been hurt a lot. Oh, they're cutting a miss. On a breaking ball, 0-2. Bogarts out on strikes. It's 7-0 Boston.
say they could use the force a little bit to get back in this game. It is Star Wars night, guys, as well you know. And one of the cool things if you come to the Trop for Star Wars night is there is a Star Wars artist that will draw a caricature of you in any Star Wars character. I chose Han Solo, BA and Dwayne, but instead I just look like a dopey sportscaster. But Bill Drugan is the artist who does this, and his dad is actually Butch Drugan, who is a big-time Rays fan, so we're hoping that brings some karma for the Rays right now, guys.
Yeah, you're right. They could use a little karma as they go into the bottom of the fourth, down 7-0.
I got mine done as Darth Vader, and we all know how that turns out, so we're pretty good.
Yeah, well, we've already had our run-in with Darth Vader.
Yeah. Dad likes to stop by every now and then.
2-1. Well, we've gone coast to coast with them now. Oakland.
That's right.
To home.
You expect him in Oakland.
Yeah.
Not so much here.
Yeah. In fact, we think he might live in Oakland.
Oh, he's got a red eye.
At the ballpark right there.
You know he's got a red eye.
Yeah. Yeah, he lives somewhere at O.co.
In the black hole.
Oh, strike 3 called to Sizemore at the knees. That's the first out. Sizemore caught looking. And strikeout number 3 for Porcello.
Third baseman, Longoria.
Big lead for Porcello. He came into this game 7-12 with a 5.12 earned run average, and most of that misery came early in the year. A ball, no strikes, the count. Foul back. 1-1. Porcello last year in Detroit went 15-13, making 31 starts. He had over 200 innings. There's a liner into left, and it's going to be out of the reach of Castillo, bouncing to the base of the wall. Longoria is in with a double, and the Rays pick up their second hit of the game. 30 doubles now for Longoria.
And now this is 13 straight games he's hit in against the Red Sox. That sinker not getting down and in. He's able to hit a hard line drive that Castillo can't get to. No, this is what all you want out of this Rays offense. Chip away, put a scare into the Red Sox, who are firmly in control of this game, but there's still a lot of baseball left.
Logan Forsythe walked in the second. One of 3 base runners the Rays have managed. First pitch fastball is a strike. Rays facing the 26-year-old right-hander Porcello, coming off a win on the 7th in his last outing against Toronto. Pitched 1 out into the 8th inning of that game. Gave up 4 runs. 3 earned. Blue Jays, by the way, have a 6-0 lead in New York tonight in the top of the 3rd.
Up to it again. And by the way, that was after winning the first game in extra innings 9-5. They won it in the 11th, and you think about them banging out 4 runs in an inning. This is how they got it. Walk, hit by pitch, walk, single, walk.
Oh my gosh.
That's how it went down. A single, 5 walks, and a hit by pitch.
It's bad enough when they are bashing.
Right. That probably was a whole lot of fun to watch if you're a New York fan.
Oh, man.
Like over the plate, just one.
Three-1 to count on Forsythe. Now we go full in the count. As Jubal Cabrera is on deck. It's fouled right back, out of play. Yeah, in the first game, Jose Bautista hit 2 home runs. He has 35. Encarnacion hit 1, gives him 32. Ben Revere hit 1. He has 2.
Yeah, but it's rubbing off.
Yep. Ball 4. Rays with a couple runners. Second walk drawn by Forsythe. Drawn both the walks allowed by Porcello tonight. Here's Jubal Cabrera. Rays trying to dig themselves out of a 7-0 hole in the bottom of the 4th. Takes it inside. He had an extended at bat against Porcello in the second inning. 11 pitches before he finally hit a fly ball to left. He came into this game hitting an even 300 off Porcello, 15 of 50. And he pops it up. It's Pedroia, infield pop. 2 gone.
Well, you'd certainly like to see something out of this inning, and you got a man at the plate here. A good balanced approach. Porcello able to get Cabrera out in front just a hair on a changeup to get that pop up.
A strike to James Loney. A couple of interesting games yet to start on the West Coast. Oakland and Texas in Arlington, and the Angels are entertaining Houston. So that Houston-LA game on the coast, and Oakland and Texas in Arlington. Fly ball to center, going to be caught by Betts, and the Rays lead 2 in the 4th. We go to the 5th, 7-0 Boston.
Will lead things off on the precipice of history. 499 career home runs. A huge crowd now behind me in right field, hoping to catch a piece of history. And guys, before the game, Major League Baseball put special marks on the baseballs so that they would know exactly which one it is, if it in fact does land to the stands here at Tropicana. Back to you.
All right, Todd, thank you very much. Ball game heads into the top of the 5th inning. Boston up 7-0, and David Ortiz will lead off. Ortiz hit a 3-run home run in the 1st inning. His 33rd of the year, and for Ortiz, number 499 of his career. We welcome the audience from Fox Sports 1 just joining us now. The pitch from Matt Moore is down. A ball and no strikes. One and one. Moore got ahead of Ortiz in the first 1 and 2, and then he turned the fastball around and hit it out to right field. Two balls and a strike.
It's been a steady diet of the fastballs, what David Ortiz has seen. Now a couple of breaking balls. Matt Moore trying to give him a different look, trying to give all these hitters a different look because they've had a big night so far.
Oh, big cut there. Ortiz got a fastball up, a little extra from Moore on that one, but Ortiz liked the general location.
Well, similar to the pitch that he hit out. And if you remember in that at-bat, swung and fouled off a fastball. Matt Moore came back with another one in the same area, and he was able to get on top of it and drive it out of the ballpark. See, maybe that ball up sets up the hook.
And a long one to right. That's going to go. Number 500. Well, David Ortiz joins Jimmy Fox, Ted Williams, and Manny Ramirez among Red Sox hitters to reach 500 home runs in a Boston uniform. He's hit 2 tonight to do it, hit a curveball out that time.
2 no-doubters, and how many of those 500 have been no-doubters? Big, strong man.
Travis Shaw fouls a fastball back.
Well, the previous pitch sets up the curveball if it ends up in the right spot. That one stayed middle down in, and David Ortiz unloaded.
2 to Shaw. So 4 runs batted in tonight for Ortiz. The big news, 2 home runs to get to 500. Will be chopped to the right side. Cabrera shifted over there, takes care of that play. Ortiz 27th on the all-time Major League home run list. He's now 4 behind Eddie Murray. Murray with 504. Sandoval. Pablo Sandoval fouls it the other way. You know, the interesting thing about now those 4 Red Sox players to reach 500 in a Boston uniform, not one of those was hit at Fenway Park. They've all come on the road. Sandoval after that fastball high up and in.
Look at the ball already back. Oh, he said he was aggressive.
One and two. Forsythe with the pickup. So 2 outs in the 5th inning following the David Ortiz home run.
Number 38, Rusney Castillo.
So the bases are empty, and Rusney Castillo will be the hitter as Ortiz continues to celebrate the moment. Popped up right side. Forsythe out. Souza in. It's going to be Forsythe to handle this one. So on the top of the 5th, David Ortiz gets to 500 with his 2nd home run of the night. It's 8-0 Boston. Tonight's high def highlight presented by H.H. Grant. Number 500 in the career of David Ortiz. Steven Souza Jr. A little tap or foul. First pitch here in the bottom of the 5th from Rick Porcello. Oh, 2. Cut the miss. So at 3 pitches. Souza's the 4th strikeout for Porcello. Well, here's Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier grounded out his first time. Rays have just 2 hits. It's been all Boston tonight. Kevin up in the count this time. And ball 4. There's 3 walks issued by Porcello. 1 out pass. J.P. Arancibia on his way to the plate.
Man, that's uncharacteristic for Porcello. He just had 30 walks in 137 innings coming in. 3 here tonight. He's been able to pitch around them, not give up anything as far as on the scoreboard.
Kirby Yates up in the bullpen. Oh, 2. Arancibia homered last night when the Rays posted an 8-4 victory, down 8-0 tonight. And that pitch plenty wide, but Arancibia started after it and could not stop.
Well, as hard as Arancibia swings, it's going to be very difficult for him to check up. You know how aggressive he is. This pitch moving well off the plate, but the swing already started, and when you get those arms extended, forget it. You're not going to be able to stop in time.
John Jaso, there's ball 1. Five strikeouts for Rick Porcello. And a high shot deep to right. That one is going to get out of here, and the Rays are on the board. Off speed pitch. Jaso hits his 3rd home run.
Well, you needed something to get the dugout excited, something to chip into this lead. There's a changeup. He rolled over it right to the middle part of the, or middle in, and above the knees. And Jaso, with a good look at that pitch, just unleashes.
So it's 8-2. Grady Sizemore. He misses the fastball up. Nothing at 2. So Jaso hits his first home run at Tropicana Field, his 3rd of the year. His other 2 had been on the road in Kansas City and Oakland. A 2-run home run this time. That is 24 home runs given up by Porcello this year in just over 140 innings. 15 of those to left-handed hitters. Too low with the curveball. Foul the other way. And Porcello thought he had strike 3 with that fastball. Down a bit. And he's out on strikes. Out in front on the change. So the Rays get on the board. 2-run home run by Jaso. It's now 8-2 Boston. The first, but David Ortiz hit a 1-2 fastball out off Matt Moore. And continued in the third on back-to-back home runs by Mookie Betts. Hit a curveball out. Dustin Pedroia homered. His 10th of the year. A fastball. And then David Ortiz hitting career home run number 500 in the 5th inning. Leading off the inning. Hit a 2-2 curveball. Rays finally on the board on the 2-run home run by John Jaso. And it's 8-2 Boston.
Need a few more of those.
Rays could use a few.
Yes.
Daniel Nava's in the game. So is Franklin. And so is Yates, Kirby Yates. The first pitch is a ball. 1-0, a fastball from Yates on for the 14th time. Two and 0. So Nick Franklin takes over at shortstop for Cabrera. Souza's out of the game. Nava's out there in right. Two and 1. And Yates on the mound follows Moore. Two and 2 to Swihart, the catcher. Bradley Jr. on deck, and then Betts to follow him. Tapper foul. You wonder about Souza if he's all right.
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thought is he's missed enough time. You know that he wants to be out there. So with Steven Souza Jr. coming out of the game, yeah, you do have to wonder about the reason why, because you just wouldn't think that that would be the call right now for a guy just working his way back.
Gloria making this play with the shift on, and Swihart is out of there. One away. Jackie Bradley Jr. will be the hitter. He doubled and scored. Red Sox scored 3 times in the first, 2 runs in the third, 2 unearned runs in the fourth, and another run in the 5th inning. So 8 runs, 6 earned. All of that off Matt Moore in 5 innings of work. Two and 0. Rays used 6 pitchers last night in posting that 8-4 win. Yates in here in the 6th inning.
How about the number of pitches it took them to close that ball game out? 9-inning game.
Well, we had that extra inning game in Detroit where we had an unbelievable number of pitches. Bradley Jr. takes a strike, and now it's 3-1. Last night, 3 hours and 26 minutes. And we had a lot of time to think between pitches.
ALE special.
Yep. 3-2 now.
That's one thing that we've noticed as this season. You know, the pace of play rule early on, there was really noticeable. Quicker games. As the season has moved along, the games have gotten longer. And once you get into September with the increased roster, you're going to jam on that brake pretty quick.
Foul ball right back off the mask of Aaron Seavey. Well, 196 pitches in that game last night, the most in a 9-inning game since September of 2014, and that was against Boston. 206 in that one. And now ball 4 to Bradley Jr. So, man at first base with 1 out. Tonight's Cold Hard Facts brought to you by Clean Chris Coors Light. As Mookie Betts comes to the plate. And right now riding an active 17-game hitting streak.
Well, he's already kept that alive here. Well, first at bat, infield hit.
A ball, no strikes.
Well, we've seen his speed, his power. Got a stolen base, an infield hit, a home run to left.
Yeah, here he is, 17-game hitting streak. He has 15 home runs. He has 18 stolen bases.
And there's no other big leaguer that has a breaking ball.
And that one gets him.
Yep.
So the curveball hits Betts.
See that ball just squirting out of the hand of Kirby Yates, staying up and in. Always scary when it's up there, but it's a breaking ball that hits the shoulder. And what I was going to say about Betts is there's no other big leaguer that has his combination of doubles, triples, and home runs. And then you mix in the stolen base factor, and that's the power and speed combination that is so very rare.
Riefenhauser's back up in the bullpen for the Rays. A walk and a hit batter. And Yates will face Dustin Pedroia. Pitch is a strike. Into center. Kiermaier's there to grab it. He drops it. Now a man's going to try to go to third. That long throw. And Bradley moves up. So it's a catch.
Well, I think Kevin thought that he had a play out at second base. You know, Bradley Jr. headed towards third aggressively as if this ball was going to drop in. Kevin Kiermaier sees that, realizes I can get to the ball and throw it quick. He sets himself in position to throw, and then on the transfer he loses it. At that point, Bradley Jr. had made it back to second and then just simply tags up.
So it's first and third with 2 outs. Xander Bogaerts the hitter. Strike one. Chases this one. A little harder curveball that time with some nice break on it. Yates in his first inning. Red Sox have had runners on base in every inning. They've scored in 4 of the first 5. First and third, 2 outs in the 6th. And it's 1-2 on Bogaerts.
Wow, that ball stayed in just enough. He almost was able to freeze him on really what amounted to a backup curveball.
Tap off the curveball there. It's a foul ball.
Xander Bogaerts, you know, one of the knocks on him last year was too pull conscious. Didn't make adjustments during the course of a game, especially on breaking balls. And those are 2 things that he's really cleaned up. He obviously wants to pull the ball, but will be more than willing to go the other way. Does a better job of staying on the breaking ball. Just saw him spoil a pretty good one there by Yates.
And he fouls the fastball back and out of play. We're talking about Bradley Jr. earlier. And that's something he's done from the left side. He was aggressive and strikeout prone. And he has changed that approach a little bit.
Got some speed. See the ball a little bit longer. Comfortable hitting the ball the other way. A lot of hits the other way.
Franklin up with this one from shortstop. Makes the throw to first. Bogaerts is out. No runs. 2 men left. Bottom of the 6th coming up. It's 8-2 Boston. tonight and all season. Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Evan Longoria to open the bottom of the inning. And he pops it up. That's Shaw. One pitch, one out in the sixth.
Number 11, Logan Forsythe.
Twice tonight, Logan Forsythe has walked, drawing 2 of the 3 walks allowed by Porcello. Strike one. And he's behind in the count. 2 are lows. Never stop improving. Career highs this year for Forsythe all across the board. Starts with games played. And then the offensive side, you name it, it's a high. A ball, 2 strikes. He's getting a chance to play.
Yeah, and we've sung his praises really all season long. You stick on that consistency theme.
Lines it to second. Caught by Pedroia.
And there will be things that Logan Forsythe takes into the offseason, coming into next spring training, on things that he may like to do differently, do better. The first full time that you've done anything, you know, first full time being out there as really the everyday starter, you're going to learn from that and be able to improve upon certain areas of your game.
Franklin fouls it. Fastball, strike one.
But I think overall, and Logan does not like to talk about himself at all, but overall he's got to be deep down inside pleased with how he's handled this season. When it didn't look like that was going to be the role he was going to be in heading into spring training, even towards the end of spring training.
Yep.
Not until the man at the plate pulled an oblique.
And Franklin behind in the count, 1-2. Franklin out on strikes. 1, 2, 3 go the Rays, and we move into the 7th. 8-2. Okay, with all your snacking needs. By SunTrust, new checking options that work as hard as you do. And by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. In the 7th inning, David Ortiz will lead off. He has 2 home runs tonight. Number 499 came in the first. Number 500 came in the 5th on the curveball. C.J. Riefenhauser in the game now. In here to face Ortiz. Down and away. 10th appearance for Riefenhauser. Two and 0. Ortiz, then Shaw, then Sandoval. All for the lefty Riefenhauser. Fly ball short center. Kiermaier coming straight ahead. That's going to fall. Ortiz drops a base hit into shallow center field.
Now when it's going well for you, breaking ball, look at this, right off the end of the bat. The big swing has that tendency to fool you. Kiermaier, he's hustling in all the way, just cannot get there in time. Nobody's fault, just perfect placement.
So Ortiz will depart. Alan Craig's going to run for him at first base. First pitch, Shaw sends this one deep to left center. That's out of here. On Riefenhauser's first pitch to Shaw, he hits it out. That's his 10th home run of the year, and will make it 10-2. It's 5 home runs hit tonight by Boston.
Boy, left-handed hitting Shaw against the lefty going opposite field. That shows you the strength. He stays on it and he's down and through it. And that ball hops off the bat 4 or 5 rows deep.
Well, Shaw put on quite a show when the Rays first saw him. He's hit this home run tonight off the lefty Riefenhauser. And for Shaw, a little ground ball handled by Forsythe to retire Sandoval. For Shaw, 11 of his last 17 hits have been for extra bases, 6 doubles and 5 home runs in that stretch.
We continue to highlight hitters down this Boston Red Sox lineup who, I mean, getting it done in a big way. It's one after the other. Just no let up.
To strike on Castillo. So they have 10 runs, 11 hits. 5 of those 11 hits home runs. That's Nava to take care of Castillo's fly ball. As promised earlier, we've selected the Data Strong fan photo of the game. Tweet your strongest fan photo to hashtag SS Data Strong Fan for a chance to be featured in an upcoming broadcast brought to you by T-Mobile. Blake Swihart 0 for 3 tonight. Roller charged by the shortstop Franklin, and his throw's not going to be in time.
And I know that was a slow roller, but how often do you see a catcher run like that? Once that ball got by Riefenhauser, it'd be tough to get him. It doesn't run like a catcher.
He certainly does not run like a catcher. An infield hit for Swihart. Jackie Bradley Jr. takes the ball. Two and 0. There on the fastball at around 89. 2 balls and a strike.
Now for Riefenhauser, it's placement and deception. He's got that lower 3/4 arm angle. He tries to create angles, sweep a breaking ball, surprise you with the heater.
(3-1). Betts on deck. He's been on base all 4 times. Single, home run, and error, and hit by a pitch. 2 outs with a runner on. 3-1 to count to Bradley. That'll take the count full.
That'll put Swihart in motion. Not even holding him on regardless.
Ground ball by the mound. And the throw to first by Longoria. Bradley's out of there. 2-run score, and it's 10-2 Boston. 2014, Nathan Carnes makes his Tampa Bay Rays debut, pitching 7 shutout innings on 2 hits, striking out 8. As the Rays beat the Blue Jays 1-0 on the solo home run by Ryan Hannigan. Tonight, we go to the bottom of the 7th with Boston up 10-2. Evan Marrero now in the game at shortstop. James Loney leads off the home half of the inning for the Rays. And Rick Porcello throws him a strike. Nothing in 2, the count. So Porcello closing in on 100 pitches. Matt Andriese listening in the bullpen. One and 2 count. Ground ball. It's backhanded, and Pedroia's throw out at first on the pick by Shaw. Boy, a scrappy play by Pedroia to get to the ball and then the throw. And it was close at first.
Boy, I didn't think they had a chance to get Loney. Just on the placement where the defenders were, the ball hit right between them. Now look how far Pedroia's got to go. Then he has to leave his feet. Now that was an impressive play by Dustin Pedroia. How quickly he got rid of that baseball. And they did get him.
Daniel Nava stands in for the first time in this game. First pitch is a strike. One and 1. It's Mikey Montauk on deck. He'll pinch hit next for Kiermaier. And through the open side, up the left field line, and Nava has a base hit.
Well, it's a pitch that Porcello has really not gone to a whole lot tonight, is that cutter. And Daniel Nava just able to inside out it to where there was no defenders. Everybody pulled around. You see him cut that ball in ever so slightly, and Nava stays inside of it. Nobody home.
So here's Mikey Montauk. One strike to count. One on, one out. A 2-strike count. Luke Maile is now on deck. And strike 3 taken. 2 outs in the 7th. Luke Maile will pinch hit. It's too high. Maile at Durham, 207 with 5 home runs. Loses his helmet on that swing on the fastball. 1-1. 10 runs, 12 hits for Boston, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Rays. It's been all Boston starting in the first on a 3-run home run by David Ortiz. Ortiz hit career number 500 in the 5th inning tonight.
Well, they just continued to add on. And that was what made it so difficult for the Rays to try to mount a comeback. We've seen them do that before, but at that point you got to really slow down this Boston offense. Easier said than done the way they've been swinging the bats the last really couple of months now.
3-2 is bounced foul. So we'll redo that with Nava headed back to first. He'll again be breaking on the full count 2-out pitch. Into right center field. Pretty well tagged. That ball will be over the head of Bradley. Going to be a double for Maley, and the Rays get another run. Nava crossing the plate. And Luke Maley unloads one into the gap in right center field. A 2-base hit for the young catcher.
Well, he got some impressive carry with this. This ball away, full extension, good plate coverage. Watch that finish. Nice high finish. And this ball just getting over the head of Bradley Jr. leads to an RBI and a double for Maley.
So Maley picking up his first hit. It's an extra base hit, a double. Getting some congratulatory slaps there from Rocco Baldelli. And with that first hit, his first run batted in. On the mound, John Jaso will face Porcello. Jaso homered on a changeup from Porcello in the 5th. One and one. Did not go. 2 balls and a strike.
I don't think Rick Porcello agrees with Ted Barrett.
Pitch number 120 is down and in. So 3-1 now.
It kind of looked like a swing where if there was contact, it would have been a double in the gap. But who's to say?
Yeah, well, we didn't have a good angle.
Camera's down.
That's right. 3-1, a little chop right side. Porcello covers, takes the toss from Shaw. The Rays going to run on the first big league hit from Luke Maley, a double, scoring Nava. Through 7, it's 10-3. Take a look at our game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Swords. For Boston, 10-12-0. The Rays 3-5-1. David Ortiz, a 2-home run night, giving him 500 career home runs. Dustin Pedroia has a solo home run. Betts has one, and Travis Shaw has one. And as we move into the 8th inning, changes for the Rays all around. Mookie Betts lifts a fly ball to right. Butler just into the game is there to make the catch. Beckham was charging out there toward the line, and Butler made the catch.
Yeah, welcome to the ball game, fellas. And I'll tell you, those kind of plays can get interesting because you haven't had a whole lot of time of working together, and Beckham and Butler are able to avoid each other and record the out.
So to reset it, Butler is in right, Montouk's in center, Sizemore is still in left. Pedroia takes the pitch down from Matt Andriese, who's on the hill. Luke Maile is catching. Daniel Nava moves in from right to play first. Beckham is at second base. Franklin took over in the 6th at short. Richie Schaefer is in the game at third. A 2-0 count to Pedroia. And 3-0. Upstairs, Pedroia walks on 4 pitches.
The shortstop, Devin Marrero.
Devin Marrero bats. He's in the spot originally occupied by Xander Bogaerts. The pitch misses up, and Maile will pay a visit to Andriese. Having trouble finding the zone here. Sister Hazel, the latest post-game concert from the Rays, performs Saturday, September 19th, when the Rays play the Orioles. Come see Sister Hazel's hits. All for you, and change your mind. For info, visit RaysBaseball.com/concerts or call 888-FAN-RAYS. And there's a pitch down and away. So it's now 2-0. Misses again.
I'll tell you what, the worst feeling a pitcher can have is when the strike zone becomes elusive. There's just nothing you can do. I mean, you're trying to make adjustments. You're on an island out there by yourself. Everybody's waiting on you. You can't throw a strike.
And he finds one after 7 straight pitches out of the zone. It's now 3-1.
And really, you get to the point where you start to forget about quality strikes. You're like, just a strike. That can be dangerous, too. Then all of a sudden, you put your fielders at risk.
Oh, we go to 3-2. That's when you get the married men off the field.
That's exciting.
Get them right off there.
Family to think about, man.
Present and future. Pedroia's at first, 1 out. 3-2 to Marrero. That's a soft liner going to fall in front of Sizemore. That moves Pedroia up to second base.
Designated hitter, Alan Craig.
Alan Craig, who pinch ran for Ortiz in the 7th inning, assumes the DH role, and he will hit right here. Rutledge is going to run now for Pedroia at second base. Here's Craig at the plate. Ball, no strikes. Craig had been at Pawtucket. Into right field. Butler makes the catch. The runners will hold. First and second, 2 outs.
First baseman, Travis Shaw.
Now Travis Shaw, who hit the home run his last time, and he connected against the lefty C.J. Riefenhauser. Shaw takes it for a ball. That Toronto-New York game at Yankee Stadium delayed in the middle of the 6th with the Blue Jays leading 6-3. Red Sox lead this one 10-3. Texas has taken an early lead at the end of 2 in Arlington over Oakland. That's 1-0. And Houston and the Angels not yet started. We referenced that earlier in the evening. Houston up by a game and a half on Texas. And 1 game up in the loss column on Texas. So that race is not over. 2-2. So a couple of big games right there affecting the American League West.
Well, and how about going back to the game that's delayed right now? The Blue Jays flexing their muscles within the division.
Yep.
I mean, this could be first 3 games of the series. And now you start to push the Yankees down, you know, the firmly in the first wild card, but you keep getting beat up by the Blue Jays, and you may put that at risk.
Yeah,
they could get vulnerable.
Yeah, it's a 3.5 game difference right now there, and now could be 4.5.
Yeah, absolutely. And I believe they play again tomorrow. That would be the plan. Too many Sunday off days.
Runners go on the 3-2, and Shaw fouls it. Moore worked 5, gave up 8 of the 10. 6 earned, then Yates an inning. Riefenhauser for 1 inning. Now Matt Andriese. On the ground, Beckham. The toss to first. Couple men left on base. Bottom of the 8th coming. 10-3 Boston.
At the busiest bullpen in the major leagues, the Tampa Bay Rays bullpen. But recently, after a Sunday day game, the bullpen had a chance to head over to Top Golf at Brandon. And that'll be the feature of tonight's Inside the Rays premiere, the bullpen. It'll be after our Rays Live postgame show. Emily Austin and the boys in the bullpen playing a little golf. Two of those guys in the pen, Xavier Cedeno and Alex Colomé, had never swung a golf club before in their life, and one of them actually excelled. That'll be tonight after the postgame show, guys.
Interesting viewing postgame.
Very.
Grady Sizemore facing Heath Embry, and he fouls the first pitch out of play for a strike. We'll see Richie Schaefer next. He's hitting out at the third spot, taking over for Longoria at third. 12th appearance of the year for the Boston right-hander. And he gets that fastball in there, close to the mid-90s. 0-2.
Yeah, everything really quiet until the delivery. Hand out front. Tries to stay smooth, and then boom. Pretty good heater.
That one at 95. Yeah, he'll just show you that glove and then quickly tuck it back.
Yeah.
Here it is. Now it's gone. And here's 95.
Any way you can create deception.
Up the left side toward the line. Foul ball, and Castillo will make the catch.
Third baseman, number 36, Richie Schaefer.
That will be Richie Schaefer. Couple of home runs with a .200 batting average to this point. And a big cut at that 95.
You knew that was coming. You're going to see the good heater, and Richie Schaefer is going to give you that big hack.
One and one. Andrew Bellotti, who got the win last night, is up in the bullpen. He pitched the 8th inning last night. The Rays scored 5 in the 8th to win that game. 1-2. Tim Beckham on deck.
Well, the one thing you can say about Richie Schaefer is he doesn't get cheated at all.
Now that ball came back. You know, they tried to get it out on the corner there, way out over the plate. 2-2. But he did come in there around 95 or 96.
And that's why those power arms are coveted, with the idea that you don't have to be as fine. You can get away with mistakes more than a guy with a little less velocity.
And the shot to right field. Bradley will look up, and that one is gone. Well, a fastball at 96. Schaefer hits it out to right field. Rays collect their second home run of the night. Make it 10-4.
Well, you keep coming with the big velocity and the big swing, and eventually they may meet up. And that's what happens here. And this ball, a line drive out into right field, and it is just going to get over that wall, a couple rows deep. It's Tim Beckham.
cut at the fastball, 96, strike one. Six home runs in this game. It's foul back. Now seven home runs in this game now. 5 by Boston, and the Rays have just hit their second home run. Beckham out on strikes. Fastball up, gets him. Mid-90s.
Shortstop, number 2, Nick Franklin.
So with the bases empty and 2 outs, Nick Franklin, who struck out back in the 6th inning, up here again in the 8th. One ball, no strikes. Two balls, no strikes. Two and one. You know, that National League Central might get interesting. Cardinals lost and the Pirates are winning. Fly ball center field. Betts back there for it, makes the catch. So Schaefer gets a home run. Belts it to right center. The Rays put another one up, and now it's 10-4. What's coming up tomorrow on Rays Live, pregame show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. We'll be on the air at 12:30. Drew Smiley will be doing the pitching for the Rays. We'll hear from him. And Doug Wechter will break down Jackie Bradley Jr., who is showing that he belongs in the major leagues, both not only with his defense but with his bat now.
Coming into this series, he was the Red Sox hottest hitter, and it wasn't really even close. Amazing the transformation over the course of this season for Jackie Bradley Jr.
Andrew Bellotti, who pitched an inning last night, picked up his 3rd win, is on to work the 9th inning tonight. He'll face Pablo Sandoval. fouls it back. This is the only slot in the Boston lineup without a hit. Sandoval has not been on base, 0 for 4. Fly ball into left. Sizemore makes the catch. 1 down in the ninth. You know, we're talking about that National League Central. The Cardinals dropped their game. And if the Pirates hang on to that 6-0 lead at home over Milwaukee, they'll be down by 3 games. So that'll be interesting.
And you know they've got some head-to-head coming up within the division, which is typically how it's going to play out. So they're probably going to see each other here shortly.
Here's Nate Castillo, little humpback liner, and it's caught by Beckham. So 2 gone.
Catcher, Blake Swihart.
Here's the young catcher, Blake Swihart. Cardinals will have to play in Pittsburgh in a 3-game series next to the last series of the regular season. How about that? That could be interesting.
Oh, yeah.
They go into Pittsburgh on the 28th, 29th, and 30th. Two strikes now on the foul ball by Swihart, 0-2. It's Matt Barnes, hard throwing right-hander in the bullpen for Boston. One ball, 2 strikes. Apparently resumed play in the bottom of the 6th in New York, with the Blue Jays leading 6-3. Base is empty, 2 gone. Nick Franklin positioned perfectly. Swihart is out of there. We go to the bottom of the 9th, 10-4.
finish up Game 2 here. Make sure you stay tuned to Rays Live, the postgame, brought to you by Checkers. Todd and Doug will be in the left field perch at our Fox studios. I'll be in the clubhouse awaiting Kevin Cash's press conference, and may or may not get some interviews with the Rays players as they look to rebound from this game and take this series in the day game tomorrow. That's Rays Live, the postgame, brought to you by Checkers, immediately following this contest. And for the final time this evening, gentlemen, may the force be with you.
And with you. Matt Barnes is the new pitcher, the third of the night for Boston. Joey Butler hitting in the spot vacated by James Loney will lead off the ninth. Pitch round the knees is a strike. Daniel Nava is going to be next, and then Mikey Montook. One and one. Rays got 3 runs off Porcello tonight. 1 off Hembree and a base hit to right for Butler. Fastball at 94, and he takes it into right.
Well, nothing new there. I mean, when we've seen Joey Butler at his very best, it's up the middle the other way. It's just the way that he is built to hit. See this pitch away. How many times have we seen that?
Daniel Nava up there. And that's strike one. Nava had a base hit, the run scored in the 7th inning. Hitting .239 overall. It's 1-1. Down 1-2 to Barnes. And the wrap-up game of this series tomorrow, a couple of lefties, Drew Smiley and Rich Hill is reasserting himself.
Well, that's going to be the first start for Rich Hill in a long time.
And Nava is out on strikes. 10th strikeout for Boston pitching. And there's Drew Smiley after his 3rd win tomorrow.
Well, Drew Smiley, we have seen him very good as he's working his way back. It's been a difficult year for Drew. A couple of different setbacks. But I'll tell you what, when he's on top of his game, he forces the hitter to really have to command the entire strike zone. He puts stress on you above the zone, below the zone, in, out. He has that same similar style as Jake Odorizzi, where they'll pitch up with the fastball, down below with the off speed.
Into the dirt. It's 1-1 to count on Montook. Rich Hill tomorrow will be making his first big league appearance in almost a year, and his first big league start since July of 2009. Montook behind in the count now, 1-2. Upstairs with the fastball, 94 on the gun. Well, the Red Sox scored 3 in the first, 2 more in the third, 2 in the fourth. They got a run in the fifth. Down to third foul. They've hit 5 home runs tonight. The Rays have hit 2. The big story, the 2 home runs by David Ortiz to get him to the 500 mark in career home runs. Took ready for the 2-2 again. And right back into the screen. One on, one out. Luke Maile on deck. 2-2 to Mato. Another foul ball.
Not giving up on this at bat. You don't know how many you're going to get. Mikey Matuk, we've seen him flash some power, showing the ability here to extend an at bat.
Ground ball short. Marrero to second for 1. First base safe there. So they get the force play at second. Matuk reaches on the fielder's choice.
We think took just a little bit too long, and that allowed Mikey Matuk to just get that foot down ahead of the throw.
And Luke Maile, who got his first big league hit, a double in the 7th to drive in a run, lifts this one into center field. Betts is there to catch it. This game is over. Rays get a hit in the 9th and leave a man and drop this ball game 10-4. So the series even at a game apiece, and the season series even 7-7. It's a 10-4 final. Porcello the winner and Moore the losing pitcher in a 10-4 final here from Tropicana Field. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. If not the outcome, we'll be with you tomorrow at 12:30. Right here on Sun Sports. Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers, comes your way next.